excited about it. I have a little box that I want to make with you guys that is using the Dragonfly Garden stamp set and the coordinating designer series paper, which is Dandy Garden designer series paper. I'll show you a whole pile of that. This paper is in the mini catalog, which ends at the end of June. So this paper won't be available for very much longer. I'm also using the coordinating punch for this one. And yeah, I think that's everything. So if you don't know me, welcome to Inking on the Fly with me, Amy Jasper. Hi. Let's make a cute box today. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside, and I don't have the finished box ready for you because I want it to be a surprise. So I'm going to show you my starting point here for the making of the box. So this started out as a piece of thick basic white cardstock, which I was sized at, I have my measurements over here in pencil, you probably can't see them. 6 inches by 10.5 inches was what my starting point was. And then I took my scoring blade, in my Simply Scored tool, and I scored this at 1 inch. Maybe I'll write it down for you here. I'll write it in the comments or the description later, but I scored it at 1 inch. No, my bad. Yes, sorry. My notes are scribbly. Don't judge me. I scored it at 1 inch, 4.5 inches, 5 3/4 inches, and 9 1/4 inches for that long side. And then on the short side, we started out with the 6 inches across, and it was scored at 1 1/4 inches and 4 3/4 inches. So those are all my scoring measurements. And this box concept was inspired by a design that my lovely friend Desiree Spence shared at an event, which was this box. So I'm just making a different size version of this box so that it will fit the 3x3 envelopes. This one's already decorated. This is an old one that I can, this paper's not available anymore, but that's basically what I want to fit in this box is the 3x3 envelopes. Okay, so then you can see that I did some trimming all around the edges. So this flap over here is only a 1 inch wide flap, whereas this side is 1 1/4 inches wide. So the 1 1/4 inch wide side, I just cut a circle. You can use, I used a punch because I have circle punches. Stampin' Up! Doesn't have circle punches anymore. We have, Stampin' Up! Has the circle dies, but you could use any punch that maybe makes a little notch in there. That notch will allow, make it a little easier for you to open the box and to grab some of the things inside. Once you have a few layers in there, it might be hard to get your finger underneath to grab your envelope and card that's in there. Okay, so that's punched with a circle punch. And then I have cut slits on all of the score lines up to the edge score lines. Those are cut, those slits. So every single one. But then on this side, I cut an angle on each corner because this end is going to be the lid and it's going to slide in. So having those angle cuts on there will make it a little easier for that to slide on to create the lid. Okay, so that is all my cutting and the folding on all the score lines. So now we're going to put the box, this component of the box together. I have already put tear and tape on each edge of my flaps that are going to stick to the inside of my box. So I can peel off my tear and tape. And just as a little side note, I feel like my circle went in a little farther than I wanted it to. I went in to about 1/4 of an inch from the inside fold, but I feel like that's a bit too much. So I would go maybe 3/8 of an inch or even 1/2 an inch from that bottom of the box. Only because when my lid, I'll show you, when my lid is closed, that opening isn't really hidden. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's just put the box together. So I'm peeling off the adhesive that I put on the back side of these smaller flaps. Like so. See, and then we have this like super easy box. So we can fold these in and close it, and then you can see why I would want that circle punch to be just a little higher up. I would like that to be hidden. You can see my accidental, I don't know if you can, I have sort of an accidental score line where I scored it incorrectly, which I flattened out later with a bone folder. But yeah, I don't like that. I don't want that showing, because remember, this flap is only 1 inch wide, whereas this is 1¼ inches wide. So it would have been better if this was up just, if my circle punch was just a little higher. That way when my card is closed, that will be hidden. Mind you, there's going to be ribbon involved, so I think that will actually hide that fairly well. If you have any little bits like these edge bits that are poking up on the sides, you can trim those down with your paper snips to make them even. That just happens because our scoring and folding and everything is not necessarily perfection, because it's handmade. There are imperfections in handmade things, and that is okay. Okay, so then I need my ribbon, which possibly I have misplaced. Possibly it fell. Oh, it did. It fell on the floor. Let me grab it. So this is the Blackberry Bliss striped. I don't remember what it's called. Names are hard. Let's look in the January to June catalog. Is Blackberry Bliss striped ribbon. Oh, good, I got it right. Blackberry Bliss striped ribbon. So that's the ribbon we're going to use. So we can just get that in half. And we're going to put it on the box. No, I'm going to put it, yes, I'm going to put it on the box this way. So I can put down some glue dots or some tearing tape to hold the ribbon in place. I'm just going to use some tearing tape because it helps the ribbon to be nice and flat as well. Oh, I just can't quite grab those edges on that tearing tape with my short nails today. All right, so there's my ribbon. Let's make it centered. And then we can tie that so that it will stay where I want it to stay. I'll just tie it in a bow. And I was very generous with the ribbon. I guess I could tell you how much I used, hey? How much ribbon, Amy? How much ribbon did you use? I used, oh, I have to do math now. Let's see. Very generous. So like 30 inches of ribbon. But you know, when you're giving a gift box to someone that they will be tying up again after they open it, you want to give them a generous amount of ribbon, because not everybody finds bows a pleasant occurrence. So if we give them lots of ribbon, it's quite easy for them to do a big loopy bow and make it really really tidy. Okay, so then I have some pieces to put on the front and back. These are Blackberry Bliss, and I cut them to be 4 by 4, but then I trimmed off the edge of each of them using the hand pen dies. So there is a die in the hand penned, the new hand penned dies. Hi Terry, so glad you could join in. I hope you're getting some crafting done today too. Yeah, so the hand penned scalloped edge cuts a really nice border. So that will be, how did I want that? I can't even remember what I was doing. I can't even remember. Oh yes, I wanted it to go this way. Okay, so I'm going to put this top and bottom on my box to create the outside shape. So yeah, so that's just a direct stick it down kind of scenario. So let's do that. Tombow liquid glue, just as easy for me. You're prepping for your May class and doing laundry. Yes, that is fun, isn't it, Terry? Laundry is not, laundry's not fun. Never, ever, ever. Nobody says, that is not something you hear people say. Laundry is fun. Yeah, I hear the sarcasm for sure. Laundry, so much fun. No, not so much. But prepping for your class is, well, you know what? That's not really fun either, is it? Designing and then doing the class is the fun part. So I'm putting this down on top because like doing it this way so I can see the edge and make sure it's even all the way around. So I'm just gonna, no, I don't know. I don't know if I want to untie it to help glue that down. I want to be able to put pressure on the other side. I guess I'm gonna have to, in order to make sure that this is sticking well. I'll do this. It's true, Terry. Laundry never ends. I think that's why I hate it so much. It's one of those tasks that it's not fun in the first place. We have a lot of tasks like that in households though, don't we? Laundry, cooking, all of that. We have to do it every day. It's not like it's ever done. I think that's why I don't like it. I like tasks that when they're done, they're done. You don't have to do them again, or maybe you don't have to do them for quite some time. Those are the best kinds of tasks to complete. There's satisfaction in the doing when it can actually be done. Okay, I'm going to use a piece of tear and tape to hold this ribbon down as well because I don't trust that I'll get it tight enough. Plus, I know I'm going to have to open it up anyways to be able to put pressure on each side of the paper while I'm gluing them together. So I might as well have it untied. There we go. Okay, then I can put this one down, and I want to try my best to match up those edges. Now there is a right side and a wrong side when you look at your die cut pieces when they have a stitched edge like that. So because the box is going to be facing this way, I'm going to have the right side facing up. So the back side, it's not going to be looked at as much, hopefully. So that's how I'm going to do that. So we will use our handy dandy Tombow liquid glue again. And again, I'm going to flip this over. Hold my ribbons out of the way. And then it's going to be a bit harder to see if I'm lined up, but we will do our best. And it might even be helpful if I Put it on its side. I'm just checking all my, kind of looks like an ice cream sandwich, doesn't it? Oh, I want to eat it. Yum, yum. The outside of this box, I think, would have been nice to be the Blackberry Bliss too, actually. Okay, I think that's straight-ish. Straight-ish. Okay, now I can open it and press that. Press that down. There. So that's the main part of the box. So I think I can tie, well, I'm going to be doing some more gluing, so maybe I won't tie that together. I'll wait. Right, Sania? It does. It looks like an ice cream sandwich. It's funny. So if you don't want it to look like an ice cream sandwich, it might be good to have this the same color as the outside layers. That might work nicely. Okay, then we have some layers to attach to the front of this. So I have, Bumblebee cardstock, which I cut to be 3.5 by 3.25. So it's not quite square, 3.5 by 3.25. And then I have a piece of the Dandy Garden Designer Series paper that I have cut just 1/8 of an inch smaller. So this is 3 3/8 by 3 1/8. So those are going to layer on top of one another. Like that, and then that can stick to the front of my box. And I know I have to open it because I'm going to need to press on the other side here. There we go. So, you know, in hindsight, it might have been good to decorate the front piece all at once and then attach it to the front of my box. And I wouldn't have to be fiddling with this box the whole time. Okay, so pretty already. Then we need, what's next? Okay, I have a couple of pieces of circles that I have die cut. So these are die cut with the layering circles dies. This is just the basic white, and then this is vellum. So they're just one size apart. So the vellum is going to go on there directly. Smack dab in the middle. And then I've noticed I have a bit of a, I don't know if you can see that, there's a bit of a line in my basic white piece here, but I don't know. I don't want to cut another one, so we'll just go with it. We'll go with it and see what happens. It might hide it. It might get hidden fairly well. We'll just make sure that it's going like an intentional direction. So I'm going to have it go horizontal. That way, yeah, that way it will look on purpose, maybe. I don't want to cut another one. Okay, there we go. So then I'm going to stamp with the stamp from the Dragonfly Garden stamp set. A nice floral, hand-drawn kind of floral image. And I will use Tuxedo Black. I'm just going to stamp this one to the left of my circle. Like that. Oh, you can see the line shows up a little bit more there. That's okay. And And then I'm going to color that a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy with my coloring, but I just want to use a little bit of color to brighten up those flowers. So I have here light mossy meadow that I'm just going, and these are the Stampin' Blends markers, so the alcohol markers. I'm just going to use just a feather light touch to fill in the leaves. Of the flowers. I'm just focusing on the larger leaves. That's just the light mossy meadow. Then I am going to go in here with I have dark calypso coral and light calypso coral. So I'm going to do some dark calypso coral just on these echinacea flowers here. Just kind of on the close to the center. And dark calypso coral is quite dark. And then I can use the light calypso coral and again, I'm just using the bullet tip because there's not a lot of room on these little drawn flowers. So just blend those in. The watercolor pencil crayons that Stampin' Up! Has would be great for this as well, for coloring in these. And then, see, I think my line is hiding nicely. That that weird score line mark. I think it's because when I ran my basic white paper through, I don't know. I used a scrap. That's probably why there's a line there. Okay. And then I have, what are these? I don't even remember. Rich Raspberry, dark and light. So I'm going to use the dark rich raspberry on the centers of these echinacea flowers. And then the light, it's not really, you can't even really see, it's so subtle. And I don't know, I might go in and add some, let's throw in some purple on these guys, just little dots to give those some color. But there's not a lot of room in these little things. I'll show you a little closer up once I get these guys in. I think these little ones would be really cute yellow too. Or even they could be leaves, right? So they could be green leaves. That works. And then this one, I don't know, maybe I'll leave that one. I might do it yellow later. Bumblebee or Daffodil Delight or Crumb Cake, or I'll just grab, hey, look at this. I'll just grab, look at me. I'm just going to grab Daffodil Delight and I'm going to throw that on just to throw, I don't even know, it's barely showing up, but it's just enough to give that some indicator that there's a bit of color there. It's super subtle. And because my markers are handy, I can also I'll just take my Pear Pizzazz and throw down a stem here. Throw down a stem. And it feels finished. I like that. That makes me happy. So I don't color with my Stampin' Write markers very often because they just don't blend very well. But for small areas, when you're just filling in a small section, they work just fine. Oh, my video goes blurry sometimes. Probably because of where my hands are moving, or my arms. I'm not sure. Keep me posted on the blurriness. So there's my coloring close up. So you can see the purple is just visible, and that yellow that I added is really subtle. It's there. It's just super, super subtle. And then my score line. I don't know. It's hard to see there. You can barely see it on the camera, but it's there. It's like just a super soft line. Okay, so there's my flowers. So those are going to go in the center. Of my card. And again, I'm going to keep that line, that weird score line, I'm going to keep it parallel. So I think I'll pop that up. This is a box. It doesn't have to be flat because it's not going in the mail. Not likely. So I've misplaced my dimensionals. Where are you? There you are, you silly dimensionals. Okay, let's pop this up with our dimensionals. Yeah, we can have layers and layers and layers on top of this box because the box is already bulky. So there's no need to be careful. Sometimes when you're mailing a card, you want to keep your dimensionals in check so that your card doesn't end up super thick when you want to mail it. I just want this to be straight. That weird score line is what I'm working with here. Make sure I think that's straight across. Okay. So cute. Okay, and then what else do I have to put on here? Oh yes, I have taken one of the designer series papers, actually a couple of them, have these dragonflies on them that are the exact size to cut with the Dragonfly Punch. So you can use the Dragonfly Punch upside down and find your dragonfly and punch it out. You can almost cut out those little guys too, those little dragonflies. It works. They can be cut out too. So I just did one. I did one of these misty moonlight colored dragonflies. So I punched that little guy out already. And I also punched out a vellum dragonfly. Sometimes it's nice to have a little extra something going on, give it that sort of three-dimensional fluttery look. So I'm going to attach those to each other with my liquid glue. I'm going to attach them a little bit offset because I want to see the vellum underneath. So I don't want it quite lined up. So like so. And I can fold up those wings, the blue wings, and I can pop that on my card, and I can use liquid glue again. I'll just use it on his little body. So that can go right about there. And I want a sentiment, but I don't know what sentiment I want or what I want to put it on. So I don't have a sentiment prepared for the front of this box. But because it's a gift box, I don't think it'll say anything like happy birthday or thank you. It could say thank you, I suppose. But I think I would, I would do, let's see. Well, let's see what the stamp set has and we'll think about it, but I don't think we could do For a True Friend would be a good one. Make good things grow all year long. I don't think that will fit, but that might be a nice one to put on the inside of the box. You Are an Inspiration could fit as well. So, and Just a Note, yes, that's right, Senia. Just a Note, because it's for note cards. So yeah, so I'm sure I have a stamp somewhere that says Just a Note, but I'm not going to go hunting for that right now. I will maybe add that later. So we're going to call this done unless we want to add, I feel like some gems would be pretty. I haven't really thought that through yet. But basically, you have now a gift box that we can put some gift cards in. And that's another thing that I'd like to do for this box is make some gift cards using the same designer series paper so that it matches the outside. And then it will be a completed kind of gift to give to pretty much anyone. You can give it to your neighbor, you can give it to your mom, your daughter, your uncle. I don't know. Lots of people would appreciate this, I think. So yeah, I think it's just missing a sentiment and then it's good to go. The other thing that's kind of cool about this box is you could stand it up and put it on display. So even with the cards in it, it can be a display box as well. So I'm going to call that done, and I think I will carry on and maybe play around with the idea of maybe a little sentiment on there, and I'm going to play around a little bit more with making some cards to go inside that will coordinate.